We are a species that is desperately tired. We're chronically underslept. We wander our homes in the dead of night, haunted by the blue glow of our screens, our minds racing with anxieties, to-do lists, and regrets. We call this insomnia. We treat it as a modern problem, a glitch in our biology. We try to hack our sleep. We buy weighted blankets, white noise machines, blackout curtains. We take pills and supplements. We try to force our brains to shut down, as if sleep is a machine we just can't get to work. But none of it works, because we're solving the wrong problem. What if sleep isn't a machine to be hacked? What if it's not a problem to be solved, but a gift to be received? What if a 3,000-year-old song written by the wisest man in history holds the true secret to defeating our modern epidemic of sleeplessness? A secret that has nothing to do with melatonin and everything to do with the state of your spirit. By the end of this video, you'll understand why everything you've been told about sleep is backwards. And you'll have a 3-step protocol that targets the real cause of your sleeplessness. But first, we need to understand just how broken we've become. Before we can understand the cure, we must fully diagnose the disease. And our disease is sleeplessness. The modern world is at war with sleep. The CDC calls insufficient sleep a public health epidemic. But here's what they mean by that. A lack of sleep is not a simple inconvenience. It is a profound biological assault. When we don't sleep, our immune systems weaken. Our ability to learn and form memories collapses. Our emotional regulation disappears. We become irritable, depressed, anxious. As the prominent sleep scientist Dr. Matthew Walker states, the shorter your sleep, the shorter your life. Sleep is not a luxury. It is a non-negotiable biological necessity. Now, some of you might be thinking, but I function fine on 5 hours of sleep. I've adapted. If that's you, I need you to pay very close attention to what I'm about to tell you. This is one of the most dangerous misconceptions in modern culture. The terrifying truth from sleep research is this: you cannot adapt to sleep deprivation any more than you can adapt to starvation. What actually happens is far more insidious. After days of insufficient sleep, your subjective feeling of tiredness plateaus. You stop feeling worse. Your brain tricks you into believing you've adapted, but objectively, your cognitive performance continues to plummet. Your reaction times match those of someone legally drunk. Your decision-making is catastrophically impaired. You've become what researchers call the walking impaired, too tired to even recognize how impaired you are. You think you're fine, but your brain is failing. So why are we so bad at it? We live in a culture that glorifies hustle. We see sleep as a waste of time, a period of unproductivity. We are told to rise and grind. We answer emails at 10 p.m. We scroll through social media, bathing our brains in artificial blue light that screams to our biology, it's daytime, stay awake, be alert. But the biggest culprit is something far more primal: anxiety. We lie in the dark and our minds go to war. We can't turn off the what-ifs. We are, as we discussed in our first video, consumed by a broken spirit. And an anxious mind simply cannot enter a state of rest. It perceives threat. And the last thing your body will do when it perceives a threat is fall asleep. Think of it this way. Imagine you're a gazelle on the African savanna, and you've just heard a lion's roar in the distance. Would your body allow you to fall asleep? Of course not. Every system would be on high alert, ready to run. This is exactly what happens when you lie awake at 3 a.m. replaying that conversation with your boss or calculating whether you can afford next month's bills. Your amygdala doesn't distinguish between a lion and a mortgage payment. Threat is threat, And when there's threat, there is no sleep. But here's the thing that will change everything. This isn't a new problem. This feeling of anxious, productive toil is an ancient human condition. And 3,000 years ago, the wisest man who ever lived cracked the code. That is where our investigation truly begins. We turn to Psalm 127. By tradition, this is a song attributed to King Solomon, a man who famously asked God not for riches or power, but for wisdom. And in this song, he gives us one of the most profound insights into work, anxiety, and rest ever written. He writes, "Unless the Lord builds the house, the builders labor in vain. Unless the Lord watches over the city, the guards stand watch in vain." This is a statement about control. It says that our own effort, our own hustle, is ultimately futile unless it is aligned with something greater. You can work 20 hours a day, but if your foundation is wrong, the house will never stand. You can guard the city with all your might, but you yourself cannot see every threat. And then, he delivers the most important line. "It is in vain that you rise up early and go late to rest, eating the bread of anxious toil." Let's stop there. This is the secret. The bread of anxious toil. What a perfect description of our modern lives. The Hebrew word for anxious toil is etzev. It means pain, sorrow, and hardship. It's the food we eat while worrying. It's the lunch we have at our desk while stressing about a deadline. It's the grind that is grinding us down. But here's what most people don't know about this word. This word etzev appears only 3 times in the entire Hebrew Bible. The first time, Genesis 3:16, describing the pain of childbirth after the fall. The second, Genesis 3:17, describing the cursed toil of working the ground. And the third, right here, in Psalm 127. Solomon is making a profound connection. He's saying that anxious toil, work driven by fear and control, is not just exhausting, it's part of the original curse. It's what happens when humans try to build their security apart from trust in God. It's literally eating the fruit of the fall. Solomon is telling us, this thing you are doing, this rise and grind, this 24/7 hustle fueled by anxiety and the belief that it all depends on you, it is vain, it is useless. He's not condemning hard work. He's condemning anxious, controlling, trustless work. Because then he gives us the antidote, the secret. For he gives to his beloved sleep. This is one of the most powerful and misunderstood lines in the entire Bible. Notice what it doesn't say. It doesn't say he gives his beloved more time to work. It doesn't say he gives his beloved success. It says he gives them sleep. The Hebrew for his beloved is yedido. It implies a deep, cherished, trusting relationship. The secret of Psalm 127 is this. Sleep is not something you earn through exhaustion. Sleep is something you receive through trust. Beautiful poetry, ancient wisdom. But on this channel, we investigate. We need to know, does this actually work? How does trust neurologically produce sleep? As we said, the sleepless brain is a brain in threat mode. Your amygdala, your emotional gas pedal, is stuck to the floor. It's flooding your system with stress hormones, cortisol, and adrenaline. That bread of anxious toil, that's chronic cortisol. It's a state of high alert. When your cortisol is high, your body cannot and will not initiate deep restorative sleep. It is biologically impossible. Your body believes it is in danger.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Let me explain the mechanism more precisely. When you enter deep sleep, what scientists call slow wave sleep, your brain does something remarkable. It literally shrinks. The glial cells in your brain contract, opening up channels that allow cerebrospinal fluid to wash through your neural tissue like a cleansing tide. This glymphatic system flushes out toxic proteins, including beta amyloid, the protein that accumulates in Alzheimer's disease. But here's the crucial part. This process can only begin when your cortisol drops below a specific threshold. When you're in anxious toil, your cortisol never drops. The brain never shrinks. The toxins never get flushed. You are quite literally poisoning your own mind, night after night, month after month. So the question becomes, how do we lower that cortisol? How do we tell our body the threat is over? This is where ancient wisdom meets cutting-edge neuroscience. What is trust in a neurological sense? Trust is the conscious act of engaging your prefrontal cortex, your logic center, to down-regulate your amygdala. It's the decision to say, the work is done, the house is built for today, the city is watched. I have done my part, and I can do no more. The rest is not in my control.
This mental act of letting go, of casting your burdens, as we discussed in our anxiety video, is a direct command to your nervous system. It signals that the threat is over. But there's a second part to this. Now, let's look at Solomon's phrase of rising early and going late. This is a perfect description of circadian rhythm disruption. Your body has an internal 24-hour clock. This clock is set by light. When you stare at your phone late at night, that blue light hits your retina and tells your brain, it's noon, stay awake, do not release melatonin. Solomon's advice to not go late to rest was an ancient command to honor your circadian rhythm, to accept that the day has an end. When you combine honoring your body's natural rhythm with the mental act of trust, your brain is finally given permission to shut down. The cortisol drops, the amygdala goes quiet, melatonin is released, and sleep is given. This is not theory. This is measurable, observable neuroscience predicted by a 3,000-year-old Solomon. But knowing this doesn't help you unless you can actually apply it. So, how do we do this tonight? This isn't just theory. This is a practical 3-step protocol. I call it the Beloved Protocol, based on the wisdom of Psalm 127. Step 1, the House is Built Protocol. This is our circadian rhythm step. 1 hour before your intended bedtime, you must declare that the house is built. The work is done. This isn't just about turning off screens. It's a ritual. It's a declaration. Dim the lights in your home to signal to your brain that the day is over. Put the phone away in another room. Create a sundown buffer zone. This honors the ancient wisdom of not going late to rest. Now here's why this works at a cellular level. Your retina contains specialized cells called intrinsically photosensitive retinal ganglion cells, or iPRGCs. These cells are specifically tuned to detect blue light in the 460 to 480 nanometer range, the exact wavelength emitted by phones, tablets, and LED lights. When these cells detect blue light, they send a signal directly to your suprachiasmatic nucleus, your brain's master clock, which immediately suppresses melatonin. By dimming lights and removing screens, you're allowing your iPRGCs to stop firing, your suprachiasmatic nucleus to stop suppressing melatonin, and your pineal gland to begin the natural flood of melatonin that opens the gateway to sleep. Solomon didn't know about iPRGCs, but he knew about honoring the rhythm of day and night. Step 2, the anxious toil protocol. You can't just will your brain to stop worrying. You must process the anxiety. As we learned in our anxiety video, you must cast the burden. Take a pen and paper.
For 5 minutes, do a brain dump. Write down everything you're worried about, every to-do list item, every fear. Get it out of your head and onto the paper. This is the physical act of casting. You're admitting you can't solve these problems at 3 a.m. You're emptying your mind of the bread of anxious toil. Let me give you a real example of how powerful this is. There's a case study in sleep research of a 42-year-old executive who hadn't slept more than 4 hours a night in over a year. Every night, the same pattern. He'd lie in bed and his mind would race through an endless loop of work problems, financial concerns, and family responsibilities. His doctor prescribed sleeping pills. They didn't work. His cortisol was too high. The pills couldn't override the biology of threat. Then, a therapist introduced him to this exact protocol. The first night, he wrote for 5 minutes before bed. He wrote down 23 different worries, and here's what happened. The moment he wrote the last one, he felt something he described as a weight being lifted from his chest. He'd externalized the thoughts. They were no longer trapped in his skull, demanding his attention. That night, he slept for 7 hours, the first time in over a year. This is the power of casting your burdens. Step 3 is the beloved protocol. This is the final, most important step. As you lay in bed, in the quiet, in the dark, do not try to fall asleep. Falling asleep is like trying to grab water. The harder you squeeze, the faster it escapes. Instead, you must change your mindset. Your only job is to rest. Your job is to be comfortable. Your job is to receive the gift of sleep if and when it is given. Remind yourself, my part is done. I am safe. I trust that my body knows what to do. This is the psychological act of trust. You're moving from the anxious doer to the beloved who receives. This is what psychologists call paradoxical intention. The harder you try to force sleep, the more you activate your performance anxiety, which spikes your cortisol, which prevents sleep. It's a vicious cycle. But when you release the goal of falling asleep and replace it with simply resting as the beloved, you break the cycle. You remove the performance pressure. You stop treating sleep as something you must achieve and start receiving it as something you are given. This is the exact neurology of what Solomon described 3,000 years ago. Ancient wisdom, modern science, perfect alignment.
A crucial disclaimer. I am an investigator, not a doctor. This information is for education. Always, always talk to a medical professional before you make any health decisions. With that said,
the modern world sold us a lie. It told us that our value is in our productivity, that rest is for the weak, and that sleep is a problem to be solved. The ancient wisdom of the Bible tells us the truth. Our value is inherent. Rest is a divine command, and sleep is a gift. A profound biological and spiritual gift given freely to those who have the wisdom to stop and the trust to receive. The inability to sleep is almost always connected to an anxious, broken spirit. To continue your healing journey, I strongly urge you to watch our foundational video, A Broken Spirit Dries the Bones. And to get the tools to fight the anxiety that keeps you awake, watch the Bible's 3-step protocol for defeating anxiety. You don't have to live on the bread of anxious toil. Tonight, build your house, watch your city, and then let it go, and receive the gift of sleep. Subscribe, and let's continue to unlock this powerful ancient wisdom for our modern lives.